सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। ओम As we saw last time, we were discussing the nature of the self. Who am I? What is my Swarupa? We saw in brief what I am not. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sarirat, Vyatiriktaha, Panchakosha, Titaha, Avasthatraya, Sakshihi, and last word was Satchidananda Swarupa. The self is of the nature of Sat, Chit and Ananda. Now let us understand these words properly and why it is said that the self is of the nature of Satchidananda. First of all, let us look at the very struggle of our life. When I say the fundamental struggle of every human being, this is the beauty of our scriptures. It doesn't talk about the struggle of a Hindu, doesn't talk about the struggle of so-called faithfuls. It's the very struggle of self-conscious, self-aware human being. The one who has self-judgment, one who has self-consciousness enough to judge about himself or herself. What is that conclusion one has about oneself? And what is the fundamental struggle? Amongst so many beauties of the Shastra, one of the beauty is the very fundamental problem, the fundamental issues are so clearly discussed, and the solution thereof also is talked about. That what makes it a Sanatana Dharma. This is, Sanatana means eternal, applicable to all, irrespective of one's faith, irrespective of one's nationality, irrespective of one's age or sex. It just requires certain degree of maturity. Let us look at this fundamental struggle that we have. The fundamental urge that every human being has. The natural pursuit that human being has. One model is, we look at it as from the standpoint of Chaturvida Purushartha. Fourfold pursuits. But this is another way of looking at it. How we conduct our life and what is the end in life. that one wants to achieve? What is the goal that one wants to achieve at the end of the day? Those three goals, this fundamental goal, is subdivided into three. Each human being fundamentally seeks three things. Out of that, the first one is common to all living creatures. Any sentient being seeks one thing in common, and two more things are unique to human being, which, as I said, we seek fundamental. And I would like to repeat, irrespective of the faith, irrespective of the belief system, irrespective of so-called upasana, Ishta Devatas or whatever, maybe a person may be Vaishnava, Ramanuja, Vallabha, Nimbarka, Swami, in modern jargon, Swaminarayan, Prajapita, or even a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew. One thing that each one of us want is, as they call in Sanskrit, Jijivisha, desire to live. In other words, no one wants to die. If you look at one of few pursuits of our life, in fact, the pharmaceutical industry, etc., is also out of this fundamental pursuit, fundamental urge that I don't want to die. And hypothetically, suppose Yamaraja, our Lord of Death, seeks permission, seeks an appointment. When can I come and take your prana? Everybody would say, not today, but tomorrow. Like in those days, there used to be board in a grocery shops, we had small provision stores and some clothes merchant. In a small town, they know each other. And when they come to buy, they don't want to pay the money. They will say, just keep it there, write down in my name and I'll pay you later. Just give me as a credit. And that shopkeeper can't afford to give it on credit because he's running, the working capital will reduce because he knows each and every member of the small town. So they used to be bored. In Gujarati, Aje Rokda, Kale Udhar. Today cash, credit tomorrow. So anyone who comes and says, okay, give me on credit, I'll pay you back after a week, he will show the board. Sorry, a typical excuse, Bapuji has said, father has said, this is a rule that we have to adhere. Today cash, credit tomorrow. So the person goes away and comes back tomorrow. But again, tomorrow when he comes, it is today. Today cash, tomorrow. So if Yamaraja comes and seeks an appointment, individual would say, not today, but maybe tomorrow. And the tomorrow never comes. Always I want to live a day more. There is always some unfulfilled agenda left behind in my life, which I want to finish. And to finish that agenda, I want to survive. Agenda in terms of achieving certain things physically, as well as agenda in terms of achieving certain things emotionally. Typical old men will want, let my grandchild get married, then I will think of it. Or let me have a great-grandchild and I may bring up the child. Always tomorrow. Human heart knows that one day, sooner or later, I am going to die. That is a known fact. So I cannot survive physically. Even a yogi, so-called yogis we hear in the book, lived for 300 years or 400 years. Even that yogi knows after for limitless time. I want to live means I want to survive for limitless time. I don't want to die. I want to have my existence for limitless time. Since I know I cannot survive physically, there is always a tendency to do something and leave a name. I want to leave a mark about the society. I want to do certain things by which so that generations to come may remember me. And if I cannot get that place in the books of history, at least I want to make sure that my children remembers me, and therefore people give donations, but on the condition that my name should be displayed in the bold letters. I should live, I should survive in the memory of the generations, which is their contemporary to me. And for the next generation, they should remember me. There was such and such a person, such and such a named person. So there is natural urge not to die and to live for eternal time. One, that is basic human. Basic thing for any living being, any living creature. Even a mosquito doesn't want to die. Therefore, it gives you a slip and you end up hitting yourself only. The mosquito sits on your body and it gives you a slip. If you look at this way, by the way, what a creation. After I had this diabetes, I have to check my blood. And of course, they take the blood from these veins. And these fellows tell me, Swamiji, your hand is good. We get quickly the vein and we can locate it. In some cases, it takes so difficult to get the vein and get the blood. My God, we have to pierce it for 8 to 10 times. They take the blood only at this point or somewhere here where the veins are vivid. But look at the expertise of mosquito. Wherever it sits, it can suck the blood. It finds the way. It can sit on the back or the front of the head, or your back or your forehead also, if the fellow knows how to suck the blood. So that is expertise, professional. These doctors can't do. The nurses who have been practicing for 30 years can't do. This fellow does from this. Bhagavan has given him the software. And here I am reminded of Swamiji's statement. You should know which mosquito sucks the blood. By the way, the male mosquito don't suck, only females suck the blood. Yeah, let me tell with underline, no relation to human being. Just mosquito I'm telling. Only female mosquito will suck the blood. And that sucks the blood only when she is pregnant. She needs blood for her baby. So she sucks the blood. Nowadays, a lot of workshops are going on positive attitude, and negative attitude, and etc. So even when mosquito bites, you can have positive attitude that I have done blood donation to pregnant woman. That's a positive way. These are the typical of Swamiji's statement. And look at it positively. See that you have donated blood to a pregnant woman. Anyway, that's aside. Let's come back to this. That even a mosquito doesn't want to die. It wants to survive. Even the plant kingdom. The plant which is growing under the shade of some big tree, it always branches out in some different direction so that it can survive. Thank God that they don't have legs to run away. But nobody wants to die. That is the basic urge of every living creature. Now the next one, which is unique to human being, and that is, I want to know. I cannot stand myself as an ignorant person. I want to know. What I want to know can differ from person to person. A scientist, a Nobel laureate may be wanting to do some research and know something in his own field, want to discover something. That is his or her own choice. And a lady, a homemaker lady, may be looking for the sales available, where discounts are available. But that I want to know is nature. It is only because of this urge. It is only because of this natural desire we have so many news channels. And then when you switch on the TV, you keep surfing the channel. I think the surfing word also needs to be changed. You keep jogging the channel. That's a better word in my opinion. They keep jog from one channel to another channel. Wants to know. I remember when we grew up with this electronic media was not there. We had a print media. And especially the weekly supplement of the print media will always leave an article at such a point where you are curious to know something next. Even those novels which appeared in the newspaper, they leave at a point and then write Vadhu avta anke, something more in the next issue. And you are curious to know. So many magazines, so many channels, so many print material is there because I want to know anything and everything under the sun and beyond the sun. Humanity, though began like the Stone Age men, like those animalistic life, but then we are blessed with natural urge to know. A baby, just 2.5-year-old baby, with its own limitations, eyes wide open, ears wide open, and the mind wide open, the fresh mind keeps asking the question, what is this and how is this? On its own, with the capacity to infer, it gathers the knowledge. Quite a few things we don't teach the child, but baby picks up, and that it wants to pick up that knowledge, that it wants to know that particular thing is because that desire to know is natural. There is an urge to know. In Sanskrit it is called jignasa. Urge to live is called jijivisha, desire to live, and urge to know is called jignasa. And that is why whenever even this modern problem of surfing WhatsApp or some other Facebook or your Twitter account is only born out of desire to know. The field or the object of knowledge can differ from person to person. But that an individual wants to know something or other is natural. It is exactly like the hunger and the thirst with which we are blessed. Right from the childhood, you feel hungry, you feel thirsty. Similarly, there is hunger and thirst for knowledge. Just as to be hungry, when I go hungry, it is painful. So also, when I am left ignorant about certain things, it hurts me, it pains me. Just 2-3 persons sitting on a table, on a different table in a restaurant. I may have some acquaintance with them of hi and hello, and they are talking something at a distance and I cannot overhear what they're talking. More so, they are talking in a low tone, and while talking, they are looking at me. I am a little far away. It gives me pain. I want to know what are they talking about me, or what is the subject they are talking about. And as I said, that is why, having woken up people, I read in newspapers that there are divorces that have taken place because having woken up the fellow doesn't talk to the spouse, but looks at the mobile and keeps on working. Recently, the new joke has come. The news, good news came in the family that the daughter-in-law is pregnant. Everybody was excited. The test came positive. Mother-in-law was happy. Distributed pedas sweets to the neighbor, and the father-in-law also happy, told his family and the friends and everybody that I'm getting a new member in the family. The younger brother was excited that we are getting, and of course, the sister, as we call Bua or the Fufi, was excited and started finding out the names of the boy and a girl. And the lady, of course, who was pregnant was happy. And then whole day spent in happy, sharing the good news. At night she came to her room. Husband was there and he was busy in watching some mobile, looking at some news. And she, out of her curiosity and out of her love, asked him, what do you think? Kya aayega? This fellow said, Modi hi aayega aur kuch nahi aayega. That is called election fever. Only Modi will come, this fellow says. In India, the elections are going on. So, because of the elections, everybody is curious who will come and who will win the election. And obviously, Mr. Modi, the existing Prime Minister, is very favorite. So he said only Modi will come. Actually, she was asking for something else. But that he was so engrossed in, I want to know about his mobile, that he never understood the context, who is asking and why is she asking. Anyway, coming back to this, that desire to know is so natural. That is why whenever some accident takes place on a highway or some road, however urgency the person may have to reach to some other place, he or she will roll down the glass and will check as to what has happened. That I want to know, it is natural. As I said, what I want to know may differ from person to person, but that I want to know, and I want to know everything concerning me. I just cannot stand myself as an ignorant person. Therefore, people learn few things as the table talks, as a party talks. Some manners they learn, because I should not be looked upon as an ignorant person. Whether others say it or not, I cannot accept myself as an ignorant person. And that jignasa is always there. Then what I want to know changes from my age to age, but till last moment, I want to know is natural. And I want to know everything that is also natural. Now the third urge, which is a compelling, more predominant than all these two, or more compelling than these two, is of course there in other beings, but very clearly manifesting in human being, is desire to be happy. You may ask me, Swamiji, you said everybody wants to live. No one wants to die. If that is the case, how come we find some people committing suicide? How come we find some people wishing that let me die? In fact, some people pray. Why some people pray? They seek blessings from us. We are put into very awkward situation. We go to some houses for bhiksha, and then there is an old lady or old father, and they do namaskaram, and they say, Swamiji, bless me so that I may die. How can I bless? That too in presence of his son and daughter and every family. So that I want to die, his desire is there. How come this contradiction is there? When I say nobody wants to die, and at the same time you find some people choosing the death. That is because the third desire, which is very predominant, very powerful, and that is a desire to be happy. Just as I don't want to die, I don't want to annihilate my existence, I don't want to continue as an ignorant person. Third is, I don't want any kind of dukkha. That natural desire is, anumatram dukkham ma me bhoot. May I not have an iota of unhappiness. Nritishayam sukham me bhuyat. May I have limitless happiness. That is the powerful urge of the human being. If you look at our life, if you just look at all our pursuit, we are restructuring the relationship, we are restructuring our possessions, we are restructuring our professional life, etc. All because in an urge to be happy, and if I am relatively happy, I want to be more happy. I am fine, but I want to be more happy. Even going to pray temple or a place of worship, when people go to some place of worship, whatever may be their faith, whatever may be their belief in a God or concept, what they have, that most of them have only this demand, oh Lord, relieve me from these unhappiness, this kind of problems which I face, this kind of situations that I am stuck with it, in which I am not at home. In those situations, don't give me a comfort, and please relieve me and give me some more happiness. That is the natural urge. Our pursuit to acquire something and pursuit to give up something. In Sanskrit, we can say all our pravrutti and nivrutti, all our possessions and discarding the things are only based on this one fundamental. Anything or any object or relation or situation which makes me unhappy, I don't want it. Either I see happiness right now, or either I see it as a potential source of happiness. What I relate with, what I possess, and what I situation that what I try to work out with, is the basic criteria is, may that situation, may that relationship, may that object reduce my unhappiness and or alleviate my unhappiness and gain me more and more happy. This is the basic thing. Anyone wanting to commit suicide, let us analyze this. Who wants to commit suicide? Tell me this. Is a happy person wants to commit suicide or unhappy one? Certainly not the happy one. The person is so happy and doesn't go to a river and jump that, oh, I am too happy, therefore let me die. No. The person who is unhappy thinks of committing suicide. Not only unhappy, who is very much unhappy. Little bit unhappiness is always there in the life. But he or she finds himself or herself, as you call it, in a soup, in a situation which he can't take it anymore. The situation, the obtaining situation is so overbearing that I just cannot handle it and I don't see the solution. I am most unhappy. And this, my unhappiness is not to go. That status of being most unhappy is to continue. I tried all the means, known and unknown, with all my hands and legs and my knowledge and my efforts. I tried to change it and get out of it. I sought some divine intervention also from some astrologer or some Swami or somebody. Still it didn't change. Situation became more aggravated in my perception. My perception that situation is more painful to me. And those situations, he or she wants to commit suicide. And if you promise that person, oh, suppose the person has lost a lot of money in the business and he feels like committing, lost some 10 millions in the business and he is worth just $500,000 guy, got some borrowing, lost so much one after the other. He tried one after the other to shore away the debt, and he couldn't, and ultimately found it's too much, could not handle the debt creditors, and had to go to a jail, and his the name and the fame, whatever he has acquired, he was to lose it, thinks of committing suicide. When that fellow is on the verge of committing suicide, And if someone goes and promises that fellow, oh, don't worry, I can get you soft loan of $10 million, no interest, and you repay at your own time, and I'll show you another possibility of business where you can make $1 million every year. I mean, I'll handle it out. I just needed a person like you, etc. You say him, he will may doubt, that person may doubt you, and he will say, really? Yes, really. You mean it? I said, yes, I mean it. Come on. He is willing to trust. When the dukkham is removed, the person gives up, even if momentarily, desire to die. No one wants to die. One who wants to die is the one, they are the one who are so unhappy in their perception. They may not be factual unhappy. It is a subjective thing that I can't handle beyond this much. That is his or her perception. In a perception of other person, this may be a very trivial thing, nothing to do with it. It's so small thing, come on, you may say. But that person takes it, feels it too much for him or her, that person commits suicide. The basic urge, the most powerful urge, is not simply that I want to live, I want to live and live happy. Look at this. These fellows, let us take the traditional example. When they think of marrying, what is the basic thing they look for? A boy and a girl. And suppose a typical Indian arranged marriage, when the parents talk out to each parents and the parents look at that family from their perspective, the cultural background, social background, etc. And then they come, they select, okay, this is okay for us. And the boy and the girl meets them, and then they finalize. This is the bottom line. What is the bottom line? There is a hope. Anyone marrying to any other person, this is the bottom line. This is the fundamental hope or promise that he or she will make me happy, make my family happy. Vice versa also true. The other person also wants that that this fellow will make me happy. And as long as they are the source of happiness to each other, as long as they are the potential source of happiness to each other, the marriage continues. The time when it comes, when each of them find other one to be just unmanageable, a clear source of unhappiness, they want divorce. Even marriage is for happiness. Divorce is also for happiness. People take work for divorce, and there is a fight and litigations and all, and someone's gain. So divorce is a loss of the two families, is a gain to the lawyers and the courts and the police, and they gain it. And after some legal battle, 2-3 years, when they come, people have come to me. They say, I knew this struggle is going on. The case is on final hearing, etc. And then suddenly they come with us. Generally, the lady will have a long face, always in sorrow and agony and pain. There is a feeling, why me? Both their fellows, couple of, not three couple, 4-5 couple I know. I knew both of them, and both of them had a complaint. I am okay, the problem is with the other person. And they thought, why me? God gave me this person. Why me? Feeling was there. Always serious. There is tremendous hurt and pain they carry. The load, the hangover of the pain they carry. And suddenly they come to me with a smiling face and a cheerful look, and then give me sweets and things. Swamiji, I understand why they've come. And they will say, Swamiji, everything over. Abhi, sukhi ho gaye. Happy. Why happy? Got the divorce. The divorce is also for happiness. That I want to be happy is a natural urge. How much happy? I want to be happy all the time. I want to be happy at all places, and I want to be happy in all relationships. This is the basic thing. Look at this thing. That means I don't want to be mortal. I can't stand that I will die a day. I can't stand myself to be ignorance. I can't stand ignorance, and I cannot stand unhappiness. I want to get rid of unhappiness. I want to get rid of ignorance. I want to get rid of my mortality. And in other words, the same three things can be put in a different words. I want to survive permanently. I want to know everything. And I want to be happy all the time and every place. One simple law is there. Swabhavikasya na nivrutti. What one wants to get rid of is something which is unnatural. That what is natural to me or natural to any vastu, it never wants to give up. Like the poison in the body of the snake is natural. It is never uncomfortable or never wanting to get rid of the poison that it carries. It is natural. Or a simple example, the water will be always at a room temperature. That room temperature is the natural state of the water. Suppose you boil it and then put it on a gas and then boil it, and when it's boiling, then put it down. Or suppose you put that water into deep freeze refrigerator, and in this refrigerated water becomes ice, and then bring it down outside to the room, and then look at that. The water which has acquired the heat up to 100 degrees Celsius, that gives up the heat. The water which has acquired some coldness with itself, it catches the heat. How long that pravrutti to get rid of the heat and to get the heat will continue till it achieves the room temperature. What is natural is not a matter of complaint. What is natural, I am at home with itself. Like they say in English, there is a saying, nobody wants to hold on to hot potato. And there's a hot potato, you want to give it up. Our Gujarati example would be, nobody wants to eat hot batata vada. You should see a Pujya fellow eating batata vada, when potato bhajis. When it is too hot, he puts into the mouth, then it is so hot that cannot chew it and cannot bring out. And you should look at the face. There is some happiness born out of the taste, and there is some pain of the heat. So Sukha Dukha Mishranam, that is the ideal picture of a samsari, married samsari. Little happiness, little unhappiness. Neither you give up, neither you can give it up, nor you can hold it on happily. Anyway, coming back to this, what is unnatural? I want to get rid of it. Just a drop of water. I happened to have a bath in a swimming pool for half an hour, and somehow a drop of water got into my ears. I tell you, that person, after 15 minutes also while talking, will be doing like this to get rid of one drop of water. A small pebble in your shoes. You may be in a great hurry to reach, but that pebble in the shoes, not outside and not at the soul level, is unnatural. You want to get rid of it. What is not natural, I want to get rid of it. What is foreign, what is not true to my Swarupa, I want to get rid of it. The fact that I want to get rid of mortality, the fact that I want to get rid of my ignorance, the fact that I want to get rid of unhappiness shows it cannot be natural to me. And as I said, Swabhavikasya na nivrittihi. What is natural, nobody wants to get rid of it. When I am happy, I don't want to get rid of it. I never say, in my wildest dream, I would never pray, oh Lord, nowadays I am very happy, please take away some happiness. You pray to Bhagavan for unhappiness. You say, oh Bhagavan, don't pray, you complain. In fact, why me, Lord? I am such a nice person. That's self-certification. Now our Prime Minister has started. You can self-attest your certificates, true copy. So every human being is a self-attesting about his modesty, his or her modesty and nobility. Everybody thinks I am a very good person. You better ask their partner. Then they will know how good you are. Anyway, so this fellow will self-attest. Oh God, why me this pain? I have not done anything bad. I have not done any sin. I have not done anything ill of others. Why me? Please take up. Has anybody, have you heard this? Going to temple or coming to us and saying, Swamiji, do something. Nowadays I am very happy. Please take away some happiness. I have not done anything that I don't deserve this happiness. Nobody does. Nobody complains. It is like saying, when do we go to a doctor? You go to doctor when you are ill, when you are not natural. In Sanskrit it is called aswastha. Swastha means swasthita. You are in your nature, you don't go. Have you seen any patient who goes to a doctor and says, sir, I have come. He paid a fees, consulting fees, 1,000, 2,000 bucks, whatever. He said, why have you come? No, sir, I just came like that. He said, what's the problem? Sir, I have no problem. He said, what's your complaint? He said, I have no complaint. The doctor has a problem to understand this patient. He says, well, do you have a headache? He said, no, sir, I have no headache. I'm fine. Never I had a headache. You have problem with your eyes? He says, no, sir, I have no problem with my eyes. Any throat problem? No, sir, no throat problem. Any back problem or knee problem? No, all are good. Digestion problem? No, everything. Sugar? No, all things are good. Just now, last month only I had my all test and everything is normal. I'm fit. I can walk 10 kilometers a day and I do this, that. The doctor will have a problem. Why have you come to me? That fellow says, since I have no problem, therefore I have come to you. I tell you, if doctor finds such a patient, he will say, you have come to a wrong doctor. Go to that fellow who treats like this. You have psychic problem. Nobody comes. So that sukham is natural. I don't want to get rid of happiness. I am, as they say, I am at home when I am happy. I am satisfied when I am happy. I am self-contained when I am happy. There may be 100 issues pending, and thousands of things which I want to achieve and which I want to change, that may be there, but momentarily, experientially, when I become happy, everything is forgotten. Everything is accepted as it is. No issues whatsoever. That shows that happiness is my swarup. That I want to know, and when I know, that the very process of knowing gives me joy. The knowledge is always joy. Vidyanande Brahma. Anything which was difficult or which warranted too much of brainstorming, and you discover the things, it is always joyous. That is why that Archimedes started running out of the bathtub by saying, Eureka, Eureka. So much of a joy. You don't need to think of Archimedes. You just look at your childhood while studying in the schools. Some one or two subjects you just loved it. Someone may like mathematics, someone may like science, someone may like language or whatever. And when you remember that language or you can solve that mathematics, you feel so happy. There is a joy in knowledge. That is why any puzzle, the Rubik Cube became so popular, because it was a challenge. And that you can set it properly, and that gives you a satisfaction. That gives you a joy. That I want happiness, and knowledge itself is a source of. That's why these children, just 2-3-year-old baby, is struggling just in wearing the shoes. The baby doesn't know which is for the left leg and which is for the right leg, and feels uncomfortable and struggling. And you say, "Come on, I'll help you." He will say, "No, I will do it myself." And when the baby solves it, baby is happy. Knowledge is happiness. Limit and how much I want to know. As I said, I am at home when I know the things. When I am knowledgeable, whatever little I know, whatever limited I know, but those moments when I am absorbed in the knowledge, when I lose my as though momentarily my self-identity in that wisdom, whatever I have, those moments makes me feel at home with myself. Those discoveries gives me a sense of satisfaction, sense of self-acceptance. And that is why others telling us, "Oh, you are a very clever and a sharp and a wise person." That gives me joy. That gives me self-acceptability. My self-esteem goes up because somebody told that you are very knowledgeable. That means that the status of being knowledgeable, or the very process of knowing, or the knowledge is natural to me. And that thing which I am wanting. See, the three things, as I said in the beginning, this is the fundamental human problem. Irrespective of faith or nationality or whatever, basta, forget it. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to be ignorant, and nobody wants to be dukhi. And how much you want to live? I want to live eternal. I want to know everything, and I want to be happy at all places, all situation, in all relationship. That means that limitless existence is called Sat, limitless knowledge is called Chit, and limitless happiness is called Ananda. Each one of us is seeker of nothing but such Ananda. And as we said, that is myself. The very seeking stems from erroneous thinking, stems from this blunder self, the greatest, they used to say, Himalayan blunder. This blunder about taking myself to be mortal, taking myself to be limited and unhappy. The very seeker is the soul. I see myself as a limited being in terms of time. I see myself limited in terms of knowledge. And I see myself limited in terms of my pursuit of happiness. That seeker is the sort. I am Satchidananda. That is me. Need not look out. The problem is not of not having Satchidananda. Problem is of not knowing that I am Satchidananda. So the fundamental problem is the problem of ignorance. Unknowing, not having not analyzed the problem thoroughly, having not understood the things thoroughly, I think the problem is of haves and have-nots. I am unhappy because I have this particular person or vastu or situation. I am unhappy because I don't have these things. Not understanding this fact, we keep on restructuring our own personal world, restructuring our relationships, restructuring our pursuits, restructuring our possessions and the situation to gain this Satchidananda in the world outside. Whereas I am by nature Satchidananda, so the problem is of self-ignorance, and therefore solution to this problem is self-knowledge. Ignorance cannot go or cannot be removed unless you gain the knowledge. So the knowledge alone destroys the ignorance. Problem is of self-ignorance, and the solution is the self-knowledge. And that is you. And what is the self? How I am Satchidananda? All that discussion, we'll take it up in the next class on 26th. Namaste to all of you. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari